All right. Broadcast live. So we're back to making the network manager for Unity3D. Going through a couple more tutorials here. This one is www.3dgep.com, networking Unity 3.5. Looks like it starts off with an introduction to programming or networking multiplayer game. Turn-based, you need to implement some sort of networking solution. It's mobile, it's different connection speeds, latency, loss of connection, handling loss of data. Yep. So you got peer-to-peer, lockstep, authoritative server dumb clients, client-side prediction. And then it got a reference here, what every programmer needs to know about game networking. And it just talks about basic client-server architecture and networking physics and stuff. So not too interesting. Spent this morning looking at some books on Amazon.com, see if I could find a book that I could Kindle that would be worthwhile to read. But I didn't find anything. So it looks like it's doing a basic server initialization. Start, stop server. Wait, it's trash. Put it in the trash, please. Yeah, the trash. You can do it. Come on. Good job. All right. Stop the server. Complete server-side script. Add the following UI sample. Same script file. What? Come here. Don't cry. You want to hang out with me? Just hang out with me then. All right. Stop server, client information. Some useful information. An example of a show client information script. This isn't that bad, actually. Does not allow the same project to be opened more than once. It also automatically reopens those projects to be edited. Just reading localhost, this import, disconnect, goes into some GUI label stuff. Network view component, here we are. Doesn't do anything to improve. Let's first discuss the network view components. Okay, so network view components can be added to any game object or script file. As for state information about game object communicates to the network, also has the following key attributes. Observed is the property in question. Be a transform, animation, rigid body, or script. We have state synchronization. Unreliable means that the state information about the observer point will be sent 15 times a second. It is called unreliable because if the information is lost somewhere in the network due to the packets being dropped by a router, for example, it's not resent. For a real-time racing game, such a loss is quite acceptable as the reset information will be too late anyways. As long as the next packets contain the complete state again, the gamer can recover. Another option is reliable data compressed. Yeah, okay. So basically, unreliable. And when you're programming for network, those are the two main factors for you. What is reliable, what's not reliable. Like a text message from one player to another, that has to be reliable. You need them to get the full text message. Network instantiate. What? Before showing how the network view works, there's another important function the network class discussed. Network instantiate function allows a prefab instance to be created on all clients. Nothing prefab must have a network view. Okay. Besides the prefab, the function also requires position rotation of the prefab. Connection. This allows groups to be split up into different groups. The groups clients in the group, nowhere near each other in the game, exchanging useless information. Okay, instantiate can be called by any client or the server, but whoever makes the call owns the instance. This means that instantiate is called on the client. The client is authoritative for that instance. It can change the position rotation, etc. The clients can cheat by modifying the position, but the chances are only local. But the changes are only local to the client and not communication, and are overridden by changes made by the owner. We will be building an authoritative server solution, so all calls to instantiate need to be made on the server. Okay, so if we instantiate any prefabs, now that makes sense though. So for the Gear VR, we're going to have two different views, right? So each player needs to have a third-person OVR camera and a first-person OVR camera. All right. So the instantiate for this game, scene manager, network manager button. Okay, let's create another script file. C# scripts. Things for server. Nope. Only instantiate on server side and instantiate a third camera for overhead view of playing field. Instantiate first person camera for in-game. Playing field needs to be the front of the player. I want the playing field out there in front of the player. Do I want it around the players? They got to turn around, constantly be turning around. If I do that, where am I going to put the shop? Should the shop be something they just turn to the left and look at? Be like, oh yeah, I want that item. And then they go back to the game that's right here. let's start with that. Makes it linear, right? And then we can move the shop with a 3D camera view, because we can tell the 3D camera to just move when the first person player gets too close to a particular location. Right? That makes sense? Makes sense. Let's type a little bit more, girl. All right, the playing field needs to be in front of the player. The shop is to the player's left or right. That way or like that way? Or like that. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. What do you think? To the right? Okay. We'll put it to the right then. Shop is to the player's right. Playing field is in front of them. Demonstrate authority to demonstrate network view. So network views, create objects likely to be network instantiate. Let's extend our client server solution so that the player game object spawn every time. Create a folder called server in the project view and drag the main the folder will contain everything needed for the server side. Also delete the game object from save. Right. Create a second folder called game folder. Add a plane, position, scale, make camera, position, rotation, direction, light, blah. Add a game controller. That is doing nothing. Looks like not. So we need a network view that does absolutely nothing. Oh baby, don't hit the keyboard. Camera, light, delete. The game object. We'll name the game object game controller. We will add a. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Component. Space. FX. Audio. Okay. Maybe if we do it over here. View. Edit a network view. Turned it off. We got rid of the transform because we don't care. Transform, it's at 0, 0, 0. For some reason, all the scenes and stuff. Look at game. All right. Yeah, for some reason, they always want you to put the game objects at 0, 0, 0 and always add all your objects into the game objects, empty game objects. And there's been situations where that proved to be very useful when I've been programming. The artists moved everything like a couple of pixels to the left or whatever, and I had to move all that scenery a couple of pixels to the left, and I was able to do that because I had grouped all those objects inside of game object. I just moved that game object a couple of pixels to the left, and I was done. Instead of having to move each one of those items. Oh, that sucked. I see the hierarchy looks like. Okay, yeah. All right. let's add a 3D object of a quad plane. There we are. How many draw calls does that cause? Because we don't have a camera in there, so let's put a camera in OBR. Prefab, so your camera. Make sure that the camera is the plane at 0, 0, 0 as well. Move the Z, oh, the Y on the, that's the 4. Okay, that looks good. We'll move it back -4. Move our plane. Yeah, we'll move our camera back a little bit more. -6. -8. Yeah, okay, let's see what that looks like. That's okay. We like that. No network players connected. DPS stream, save batch, batches 3, 5.10 up to 10 milliseconds loading that. About 180 to 160 FPS. Is there any way to get some more information? Babe, stop moving my arms. Stop moving my arms. I'm trying to click on stuff. Okay. Excuse you. Excuse you. Oh, that's gross. Right. So now we're going to create a simple prefab. Cover your mouth and you sneeze. Get tissue for you. There you go. Excuse you. Excuse you. You all done? All right. All right, so the object cube to 0, 0, 0. Cube. That one. Half a unit to fall down. So add a cube, rename the cube to player. I don't know why you need to rename it to player, but all right. You are player. Add a rigid body component. Rigid body. And a network view. Right. And then put the rigid body component into the observed. Go to the inspector and tag it as player. Okay, let's tag this player. Finally, drag the cube from the hierarchy into the project. So at this point, I need a new folder in my assets. Create a new folder. I'll call it prefabs. Folder, create folder player. You will be Mr. Cube. Cube the player. But you are boring, Cube the player, as you are not a color. So we will add a new folder. Materials. New materials. Right click, create new material. This will be players. What color should they be? Orange? Top. What color is that? Brown. brown. Open up that and click the albedo and change it to a dark brown. There we are. Yeah. Cool. Has player. Man, there we are. Player one, delete. Set. Player. Scene. Press one up automatically, which is wrong. Should be at 0, 0. There we are. Dark player into our scene should appear 0, 0, which it does. Move it by 1. Right. There's type, okay. You're okay, babe. Step in. Let's put game folder, delete the original player game object from the scene. Right, so. Looks good. Okay. All right. Drag this script from the project view onto the game controller object in the hierarchy view. Finished. Basically, it's just saying make a script file that has a prefab type game object available to it so that you can call it, then export it as a network game. I wonder why it's making me do both sides, like the server completely different from the client, like they're two different clients. Maybe because it's easier to understand than networking. Let's continue reading. You ready for lunch? All right, let's go do lunch. We're going to take a break, come back, and we'll do lunch.